Hey, what's going on? Joe Coffey here for PremierGuitar.com. We're at AES 2008 in San Francisco. I'm here with Bob Reardon of SE Electronics. Bob, how you doing, man?
Doing great. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. You know, AES stands for Audio Engineering Society. Take a look around here, Chris. This place is crawling with audio engineers. It's a big exhibit hall, and among this crowd, if there's one name, one guy who can go by one name, who everybody's like, woo, Rupert.
Yeah,
right?
Mr. Neve himself,
yeah.
Rupert Neve, legendary for the consoles that he's made for years, probably the most famous audio console out there. Rupert to do on the microphone, which is, of course, the electronics, which he's famous for. Now what we're looking at here is actually a ribbon mic. And the ribbon mic has a few very interesting characteristics. In the design, he used transformers, both going into the electronics and out of the electronics. And when I say electronics, this is actually an active microphone.
There's a board in there.
There's a board in there. It works off of phantom power, but the principles are different than a condenser microphone. Now, your standard ribbon microphones would be considered a dynamic mic, and making a ribbon mic active actually extends the capability of what a ribbon mic can do. Typically, there's a couple of principles why. One is impedance. With your dynamic ribbon mic, our mics, which we do make dynamic ribbon mics, or anybody else's, there's limitations on impedance and output. And you can do some things to optimize the impedance performance and deal with the output, but there's a certain place that you can't get past. Now, that's why when you make it an active electronics microphone, you can completely isolate any of the impedance issues on the output, and also the output level. So you don't need the special preamp that some people you need to use, especially for acoustic guitar. I know that you guys are guitar orientation. You know, it can be quiet, and so you need a special mic preamp. So with an active one, you can use a regular preamp.
Plus, if you want really lush high end with all the clarity and detail, I mean, a lot of guys will go straight ribbon every time.
Yeah, absolutely. The accuracy, there's certain things that are associated with condenser mics. Sure, they get a very nice high frequency response. We obviously make a lot of condenser mics. But some people feel that ribbons are a much more natural sound. And there are certain physical characteristics, the difference between a condenser diaphragm and a ribbon element, which make that possible. Now, when I said that there's a transformer coming in and going out, it allows the impedance loading of the element to really optimize the high frequency response. What this means is you're going to be able to use this on situations like an acoustic guitar, where often you'd reach for a condenser microphone. But also, certainly people love to put ribbon mics in front of amplifiers, and I suspect you got a couple guys out there with amps at least.
Couple.
You know.
So this is well suited for that.
SPL? Well, I don't have all of our test specs out of the lab, but I did have a conversation with Rupert himself this morning. One of the people in the press actually asked him about the output rating, and he said, well, I haven't tested for the margins on it yet, but I can assure you 140 dB is no problem if you have a source that can accurately make 140 dB. So, I don't know.
There you have it.
That works for me. I've used ribbon mics on sound sources, especially stringed instruments where they have a lot of transients. So it's not even just guitar, it can be mandolin, other stringed instruments. And the thing that's very nice, when you have a lot of sharp transients, and it could be just a regular guitar, you know, depending on the top and the body and how it's voiced, or something like a mandolin or a banjo, which is going to speak, that the high end is nice and silky. So you have the high end there, but it's not a sharp high end.
Very cool. Price point on this?
This is going to be coming out with a street price at list for around the $2,500 range. So not an inexpensive mic, but for a Neve signature mic, pretty good.
Very cool. Let's move over to this contraption here. Tell me about this.
This is our GM10 guitar mic system. And what comes with it is this whole assembly right here, and connection right here in the back. And this clamps on the guitar. It doesn't change, the clamping mechanism doesn't hurt the finish, and it doesn't change the sound of the guitar. We actually have done experiments to mic it externally with it on and with it off to validate that. Even on gut string guitars, we did tests on nylon strings, which would be even more sensitive than steels. So it doesn't alter the sound of the guitar, and it solves that old problem of, hey, wait, you moved.
Yeah.
So in a studio situation, the player you can adjust this, the arm can go further, so you can go further up towards the 12th fret, any of these positions, and you can get very particular about exactly how the voicing is.
What about, the first thing that comes to my mind is, well, it's touching the soundboard. What about vibrations that are going to go through and affect the microphone's
Great
ability
question.
to pick
so
up
we
sound?
have a 3, and that's very important. If you didn't address that in the engineering design, you'd have a serious problem. So there's isolation here with the material used. Okay.
Kind of rubber, I guess?
Yep. And then there's isolation right here. I don't know if you can zoom in for your users. Right inside here, this whole unit is basically gimbaled as part of a mount. And there's a third one. This whole unit that holds the capsule is also gimbaled as a mount. So there's 3 mechanisms that are being used for isolation. Very important. And it gives you a really natural sound. We've had wonderful feedback from both studio and live players. You can use it live. And in the studio, you can put your guitar down on the stand, go get a drink of water, listen to a playback, you come back, and you're right in position, exactly in position. You could punch that track. So it's really outstanding for solving that wait you move problem in the studio.
Yeah, but do you make a left-handed version?
Yes, we do.
At a price point on this?
Okay, the whole unit, including a nice flight case, and actually that's the flight case down there, can be had for $500, under $500.
Very cool. If people want to find out more about these products, where can they go online?
Go online in the United States. There's seelectronics.com, and also if you're in the United States or Canada, you can go to sonicus.net.
Very cool. All right, Bob, thanks a lot.
Thanks
sure
so much.
Appreciate it. I'm Joe Coffey, and you're watching PremierGuitar.com.